Do I look big in this sweater?
Big?
Yeah. Can you?
He's getting nervous.
I always get like this before I film.
It's okay.
You should see my outtakes.
This is my baby's Latina Mamacita outfit. One of my favorites.
Why is it a Latina Mamacita outfit?
I don't know. I think it's just the hair and just my baby. She's just a Latina Mamacita.
Okay, how do we start this? Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are here with my fiance and we are going to be talking about our engagement story. I have a few questions that were asked on Instagram and we are just going to chat a little bit more about the process. So, are you ready, babe?
I'm ready.
Question number one, which I think should go first, is how was your ring shopping process?
So the ring shopping process started at Merrow Fine in Newport Beach.
Yes.
Lexi and I went there to check out some styles, get a feel for what we were interested in. Ended up talking to a really nice lady who worked there who was very knowledgeable about our specific design preference, which was the ballerina style.
She was very, very helpful, and although we didn't get our ring at that specific location, I am really happy that we went there first because I feel like the experience was very one-on-one. She took us to a separate room, we were able to take our time, and I was able to try on several rings and just narrow down what I really wanted. Like, I had an idea of what I wanted, and that appointment really confirmed it for us, that what I liked was like a vintage inspired ballerina style ring.
Yeah, and once we started to talk a little bit more about the specifics, we found out the price for that specific ring at Merrow Fine was a little bit out of budget, so we did look to some alternative solutions. But like Lexi said, I think one thing we really enjoyed was the custom fitting process and being able to talk a little bit more about what we were looking to do, see some different designs, see how it looked on her finger, how it felt. So although we didn't purchase from Merrow Fine, it was a very good experience in terms of just us understanding what we were looking for.
Yeah, definitely. And then from there we went to Diamond and Design in Chino Hills, which was a recommendation per Brian's family.
My sister actually got her wedding ring from there. Ended up forming a pretty good relationship with the family there, and they were able to really help us out, continue the custom fitting process, and of course they welcomed us with a few glasses of champagne, which made the selection process a little bit more fun.
Yeah, it was really a great experience. She definitely was more in depth. She was able to just bring out different sizes of the diamonds. She was able to tell you everything that she can offer basically on your budget. So at that appointment was, although I feel like neither one of us knew we were going there to get our ring, we ended up walking out of there
with a pretty good idea of what we wanted.
Right.
And I think Lexi was more so there for the guidance and the design style, whereas I started to take over more of the custom process and working with the designers on building a few different CAD designs in their software, going back and forth on specifics of what it should look like, how high should it be off the finger. So we went through about 3 or 4 different designs about Lexi's knowledge, and I think the final product turned out to be what she was looking for.
Yeah, he truly did such a great job. I remember when he opened up the box when he was proposing, I literally was like, it's perfect. Like, it's literally like, were the first words out of my mouth. I was just like, oh my gosh, he did it. Like, I knew I could trust him and he nailed it, so.
And her reaction said it all, I believe, when I opened it. Her first thing was,
it really was.
so I knew I had hit it out of the park there.
That was pretty much our ring process. It wasn't too crazy. I feel like we said, to summarize it, Merrow Fine was a great place to go and figure out what you want. And then we went to Diamond and Design and just finalized it. So our experience, I would say, was very smooth. It was pretty quick. I think it was all done within a month.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just a great experience overall. But how did you know it was the right time?
Yeah, well, it's 6 years into our relationship, so 6.5 to get specific. And I figured it was the right time. I think we both knew it. It was more so just getting the ring design and figuring out the best time to ask her. Based on when we got the ring done in hand and finished the design process, I kind of let that guide when I decided to ask, and luckily it kind of fell around Christmas and New Year's, and a holiday engagement always sounded like a pretty good idea. So we ended up getting it done just after New Year's.
I was on my Instagram scrolling, and I feel like we started talking about actually getting engaged in May of 2022. That's when I had put up a poll on Instagram, and I was like, is it normal for the female to kind of ask or pitch in on what the ring looks like, or should I just let him surprise me? And so yeah, so since May, we were kind of talking about it, and then I feel like we got really serious, or I saw he got really serious and booked an appointment and stuff.
And I would definitely suggest to other guys out there to have the woman involved, at least in the early process of really finding out what style they want and what feels good on their finger. And then once you kind of have a general understanding of what they're looking for, take it from there and definitely keep the surprise element intact as long as you can.
Why did I choose a vintage fairy tale ring design? I can't really explain why. That's kind of like a tough question. I just know I've been on Pinterest since I was in high school, always just looking at rings of like, what kind of ring can I see myself with? And the ones that always stood out to me and that I was saving ended up being these vintage inspired rings. I'm a hopeless romantic. I feel like
as well.
I feel like maybe that's why I just fell in love with this like Art Deco, old school ring style. And I kind of always knew that's what I wanted. And then once I had it on my finger, it made sense. Brian, where did you hide the ring once you had it?
Yeah, well, luckily here at our new place, I do have my own office, which has ample closet space. So I was able to conceal it in the closet, although I did have some other items set aside in there for the proposal ceremony that was going to be done on the beach. So as we got a little bit closer to the asking day, it was definitely much harder to keep things hidden from her. There came a time where I just thought it was best for her not to go in there, and I think
I found that very weird, and I actually got mad at him a few days before because I said something was missing. I think it was a blanket, and I said, babe, where's the blanket? He's like, it's in my office. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go grab it. He's like, I'll grab it. And I was like, dude.
So as the day came closer, it was definitely harder to keep everything a secret, but long story short, ring was kept in the office in a place where even if she did go in there, she would not be able to find it.
Yes. Lexi, did you know it was happening that day? I did not know when I woke up that morning, like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get engaged today. No, I did not. We had plans to go hiking that day, and instead we decided to sleep in, and then we went to breakfast. Brian was acting super normal up until that point. He did say, you know, we're gonna go on a date night, which is not very like abnormal for us. We like to go on date night. So I was like, cool. We got home, I started getting ready. He actually had, because people thought we planned it out, or I knew because we were matching, but that was totally unintentional. He had a different outfit on, and then I got changed, and I was like, hey babe, like what if we matched? Like I like this sweater, why don't you wear this sweater? And so we helped each other like plan our outfits. It was very unintentional on my part, and I'm sure for him in his head, he was like, well, this works out perfectly. We were driving there, still didn't think anything of it. We got to Newport, we parked, and he was like, let's just go for a walk, which again, not abnormal. We love to go on walks by the beach. However, it did start to sprinkle. I had done my hair and my makeup, and we were walking around, and I was like, okay, babe, like I got ready, we're gonna go to dinner, like I don't wanna get my hair messed up. I was a little cranky because it was sprinkling, and he insisted that we kept walking around. And he was like, look at these houses and look at that house. And I was like, what is happening? Like my first thought was, obviously it's silly, but I'm like, did he buy a house, or why are we looking at these houses so much?
Oh, that would have been great.
I know, but and then there was a point where he asked us to walk into the beach. Again, it was raining, it was very cloudy, and I was like, okay, something's gonna happen. I think that's when I started getting butterflies in my tummy, when we were starting to walk into the sand, because, you know. I feel like from there I started to black out a little bit. I got butterflies, I started getting really nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, is this happening? And I just feel like I couldn't stop smiling, like my cheeks hurt all day, and I don't know. I get emotional.
It definitely got hard to conceal once we got there. The biggest challenge with a winter proposal for anybody out there is the potential of rain. So I was frantically checking multiple radars the morning of in my office, trying to not make it seem too obvious, but just making sure that we did have enough time to get through everything without being rained on. And as we did start to walk over there, I wouldn't say it was raining, it started to lightly sprinkle and started to get a little bit concerned, but luckily we got about an hour to an hour and a half window where it wasn't raining, and we were able to have a successful proposal, have the photographer there and take great photos. Everything worked out, you know, I think just as we had planned.
It really did. So the last question was, do we have any wedding day details? definitely not.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
It's so funny because we already have family members too that they're like, so is there a date booked? Absolutely not. I've always said, and I've always told him even before we were engaged, I want to soak in every season that we're in. And right now we are in the engaged fiance season, and I just want to soak in it for a while before we start doing any sort of planning. So no details yet. If it happens to happen, we love our anniversary date. It's August 3rd. That lands between my birthday and his birthday perfectly, and we've spoken about maybe August 3rd, 2024, because it happens to land on a Saturday, which I think is just really cool, and I feel like it gives us ample time to just soak in this season. So we'll see, but nothing is set in stone, and right now we're just living life.
Yeah, we're just taking it one day at a time. So when we make an announcement and a decision, we'll be sure to share that with everybody.
Yeah, so yeah, thank you so much for everyone who's been interested in our relationship and this season and this journey. It means so much to us. We are clearly on cloud 9, and I hope this video helps anyone who wants to get engaged possibly soon.
Yeah, let us know if you have any other questions, and hopefully we can do a little bit more of these in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bye-bye.